Hello guys, this is HT Web Host bringing you another tutorial. Today we're going to talk about installing Pfsense in Virtualbox. What I decided to do was go ahead and install it via Virtualbox, but this could be used to install, the steps could be used to install it in regular hardware like the PC that I showed in one of my earlier videos. You just put the boot media, whether it's a CD that you made using ImageBird in one of my last tutorials or a USB pen drive with the boot media. Either way, the steps are basically the same. So what we're going to do is going to go ahead and fire up VirtualBox here. Now inside of VirtualBox, what we're going to do is go ahead and create a new VM. We'll call it Pfsense VM1. I'm going to assign it 4 gig of memory, and we are BSD, so we're going to select that. And FreeBSD 64-bit is what we'll be using because that is what Pfsense is based off of. It's BSD. So we're going to hit create. Hard drive space for this install, I don't need much, so we can do like a 20 gig partition. Be fine. VDI is fine. I'm going to store it in VirtualBox VM, so that is fine. And create. Awesome. Now we need to go in here, and what I'm going to do is go into settings. So go up here, click on settings, make sure that's selected. System. Alright, for whatever reason it changed the memory for me again. I'm going to set it back to 4 gigs. Processor, I'm going to use 1, that is fine. So we'll go ahead and do that, and we'll go down to the next one. Display is fine. Storage is fine. Now I will need a ISO, so we're going to load that into here. We'll use this, so we select the empty CD-ROM there, and we're going to hit that, load the ISO. We're going to choose a virtual disk file. And should be right here somewhere. Yes. So we have that. I'm going to use the CD-ROM one up here. Go in there, select that, open. So that looks good. Audio, we're good. Network. I'm going to use bridged mode. So we're going to go ahead and hit select bridged. And I'm going to go ahead and select allow for this one. Allow all. So allow all traffic through this network interface. The second adapter, we're going to go ahead and I'm going to select bridge for as well. This is also going to be a virtual adapter. And I think we'll select deny for now. We may change this if we have some issues. But this will be my LAN traffic for network adapter 3 and 4. We're not going to mess with. All right. Serial ports, don't need to worry about that. USB, we don't need to worry about that. Shared folders, don't need to worry about that. So we should be good to go. And we are. Storage is good. Network is good. Alright, okay. Alright. Now we're going to go ahead and start the VM up first. So go ahead and start. I'll start up the VM. And we're going to go here, and it's going to go ahead and run us through the install script. It's going through selecting all the virtual hardware it's looking for. And once that gets done, we should be at a install screen. Alright, and there's our install screen. Do I accept the licensing? Yes, I do. I'm going to go ahead and install, so we're going to select the first option, OK. Continue with default key map, that's fine with me. We're going to use the auto UFS for Universal File System. You could also, I guess, use auto ZFS. I like ZFS as well, but since I don't have a lot of memory in this VM, I'm not going to use the UFS because the UFS does tend to like a little bit of memory. So I'm just going to use the UFS. Most of the time that's what I use for my PF installs anyway. So we're going to do that. It's going to go through, it's going to run through the install process. And right now I'm going to go ahead and pause the video for you guys. I can get my pause here. Looks like alright, it says it's complete. So I guess I really didn't need to pause the video. I'm going to go ahead and reboot. All right. Oh, looks like it fired up the installer again. And why did it fire up the installer? Because we forgot to eject the media. So what we need to do now is get that out, media out. And I don't know why, but for some reason I cannot get out of my screen, out of Virtualbox for whatever reason. The control is not letting me go out of that. So what we're going to do is go ahead and end Virtualbox. And let me go ahead and pause the video for a moment. Alright, we're back. Sorry about that, guys. I don't know what happened, but I couldn't basically switch out to stop or pause the recording there. The Virtualbox had kind of locked up on me for a moment. Anyways, what we're going to do first here, since we're back, I'm going to go ahead and eject the media out of Pfsense. So we're going into the settings once again here. And we're going to do this here. Let's go to storage. That right there. And then we should be able to remove virtual disk from virtual drive. And then OK. Now we should be able to start up the VM. This a little bit bigger for you guys, and we should get boot up. Perfect. So once it loads here, we should have a text style interface. But where you're going to do most of your management obviously is going to be through the web GUI. So you'll be doing most, if not all, of your IP address in there, your firewall rules. If you decide to set up load balancing, all that good stuff will be done mostly through that interface. So alright, so it has given me a LAN interface here of 192.168.1.1, and it grabbed DHCP from my router. So basically, what I am right now is double natted, if you want to call it, because I have a Microtech router here handing out 4 dot numbers, 4.213. So I need to get into the router, and if we go in, let's minimize that. I don't want that. And create it there. All right, perfect. Minimize that. Some other stuff I was working on. So we need to look at what the IP is. Now, my machine here does not have an IP address of 1.1, so there's a good chance I'm not going to be able to get there. And as you will see, negatory, nothing. I can't even ping. If you open a command prompt, I can't even ping that subnet. So if I ping 192.168.1.1, nothing, because the Microtech router doesn't know the route to that network. So what we need to do is probably log in via the 4 dot number, obviously. So we'll do that. 4.213. So let's try that. So we have 4.213, and let's see if that allows me entrance into there. And probably not going to work that way either. Let me see. Might need to put HTTPS in the front of it. I have my routers in the wild set up a little bit different than the VM here, so the ports and stuff are different. So let's see here. Alright guys, just give me a moment here. I'm going to go ahead and pause the video for a quick moment and then be right back. Alright guys, we're back. I'm sorry about the wait there. So basically what happened, since we have 2 bridged adapters in the Virtualbox and it's acting like a real network, which is what you want for this project, so that you can route packet or traffic and everything through the interfaces properly, I had to go into my physical network adapter here, go to properties here, and set it to a static IP of 1.10, with the gateway being the Pfsense IP address, which would be your LAN for there. And then I put in DNS servers for OpenDNS and Google. So that's how you do that. Now, as you will see, we'll minimize that. If we hit this here, this is to the router, you hit advanced, and then we hit proceed to here. Now, the reason we have to do this is because it's considered not secure, even though you'll see that the certificate says invalid. It's because the certificate is self-signed. It's not signed by a third party or a certificate authority. So it's going to say that, even though it is technically using a certificate and it is encrypted. So we go down here, advanced, proceed, and boom, there we have it, Pfsense Login. If I remember right, I think it is admin or admin root. I think it's admin or admin password is the default. Admin Pfsense. Yeah. So the username is admin and the default password is Pfsense. It is super important, guys, to change this as soon as possible. You don't want anybody getting into your router and causing all kinds of havoc, because they will. So username default admin, password default Pfsense all lowercase letters. Okay, and there's a little setup wizard for you here right when you first log in. Now, obviously, if you're doing this on a physical box like the small form factor from Dell that I had in a previous video, you would put your internet cable coming in from your modem into the WAN interface of the server, the router, and then your LAN interface would come out into a switch or to the multiple PCs. However you want to set up your interfaces in Pfsense, you can have more than one WAN interface, you can have more than one LAN interface. It gives you a lot of flexibility on how to assign the ports the way you want them, which a lot of other firewalls and devices won't do. So just going to hit next. It's going to tell you about Netgate. They have global support if you need support from them. We don't, so we're going to leave this the same. If I was running this in the out on a virtual machine out in a data center somewhere or whatnot, I would probably give it some kind of DNS. For here, we're just going to do this Pfsense. We'll call it HT Web Router 1. And domain, whatever you want there. Primary DNS, we'll just go ahead and use OpenDNS and Google for now. And allow DNS servers to be overridden. Yes, that's fine. Next. Time server host name, that's fine. That's the NTP time server, which you want. Time zone, UTC. Let's see if we have America, New York. And we do. That's what I want. It's my time zone. Next. On the screen, wire configuration can be configured. We will select DHCP. Now, I'm probably not going to go through all this here because I do have another DHCP server running on the Microtech router, and it could cause issues on the network. So I'm probably not going to go ahead and use DHCP right now. I'm probably going to, let's say on the screen, the wide area network information will be configured. All right. Configure WAN. Okay. All right. So this is for the WAN interface. So DHCP is fine since it's grabbing it from the Microtech. So scratch that last thing I said. So it's grabbing the 4 dot number from the Microtech because we're double NATed. If you have DHCP for your WAN interface, most of the time is going to be fine because most home connections and even a lot of business connections do not have static IP. If you have a static IP, you need to click static and fill out the information as needed. But we have DHCP, so we'll leave that alone. MTU, MAC address, all this stuff here. If you need to put then the MAC address of your WAN interface, some ISPs do require that. Not as much anymore, but they used to. You need to put that in there. MTU is for your the fields and stuff, the bytes. We're going to leave all this stuff alone for the moment. Static IP configuration, that's if you select static up here. It should let you, yes, put it down here. And you would put in your IP address, subnet mask, and the gateway that your ISP gives you. And here you can select your subnet masks. I would basically, if you guys don't know anything about networking, you do need to have a good general knowledge to set one of these up. But, you know, set it up. Play with it in VirtualBox a little bit. Experiment. It's not going to hurt you. If you mess it up in VirtualBox, you just make a snapshot and roll back. You're not going to learn any of this stuff unless you go through and you put in the effort to try and learn it. All right, this stuff down here, block private networks from entering our WAN interface. This is a good thing. So that basically means that we will not have private networks coming from these addresses trying to spoof into our network. So this blocks it automatically, which is nice. Block bog-on networks, kind of the same thing. Yep, see, not assigned by the INA prefixes, so we're all good here. So next, LAN IP address. Here we can change it to another subnet if I wanted to. I can change it to a bigger one. I can make it a /16, whatever I want. 24 is fine, 1.1 is fine. So I'm going to hit next. Admin password, here we go. So I'm going to change the admin password to something different. And then we're next. All right, then we hit reload. And it's going to go through and reload some of the settings, and we're good to go. Now what we can do first is, and I recommend you do is from time to time you're going to be checking for updates. So we'll go ahead and hit that. We should be pretty good because the ISO I downloaded was pretty recent, so we'll go ahead and click that just for good measure. And it's not really doing anything, so I think what we'll end up doing is just hitting finish instead. If I hit that stop up there, maybe it'll stop it. Well, it's really thinking hard. I wonder if it's actually natting out to the internet like it's supposed to. I bet you anything it's probably not. Nope. Can't connect. It's trying to save these settings. Well, let's look here and see. We're not getting anywhere, so I'm going to close out of this. See if we can get back in there. It may. Okay, this is the console. It shows that we updated the password there. Guys, looks like I'm having a little bit of an issue. It's probably because I'm double natted, and usually that's not the best way to ever do things. So what we're going to do here is try to figure out why it's doing this. I am going to close out of some of this stuff. I can go back later and look at that. So I can't get out of the internet because I'm going through basically two routers here. And even though it's showing, let me see if I can get into cnn.com. See if that comes out. Nope, doesn't like that either. All right, I'm going to reboot the Pfsense instance. So what we'll do is do that and reset that. And we'll just hit reset. Yes. And we'll do reset it. Let's run it over here. Let's see if we can get back into where we need to be. Let's see if it'll let us back in there. Really, this is probably not the optimal way to run Pfsense. The best way is, if you're using it as a full-fledged router, is to use it with a physical box, like the one I had in the previous video. Now, for a VPN concentrator, and what I consider VPN concentrator is something like that's just using it to bounce off, basically connecting securely to a VPN with OpenVPN. That works great as a virtual machine. I've used it quite often, so let's see if we can get in now and play around. If it lets us. See if it'll let us do that. And I have a couple of VPN concentrators that run as VMs, and that's all they do. They don't really route, they just provide me a VPN connection that I can use to be secure. Let's see if it, okay, here we go. So admin, and then whatever you set your password as. Okay, it's basically saying no commercial distribution Pfsense. Okay, we all know about that. Hit accept. Alright, it says it's on the latest version, which is great. It shows you how many states and everything else is open. We have plenty of tables because we have a good amount of RAM in there. As your RAM increases or decreases, it increases or decreases the amount of tables, open states that your firewall is able to have. We have a good little amount of RAM here and everything, so we're good there. So now we show the LAN and WAN. I wonder if it went ahead and we have internet now. Let's see if it'll let us go out the internet. Look at there. It's actually working. So it just needed to be a little kick in the pants there to get it rebooted and going. So it's double natted right now. And I am, if we go in here, we can look and see. Look, I do indeed have an IP address right there of 1.10, and there's the Pfsense box right there, 1.1. So if I ping that 192.168.1.1, it is pinging the Virtualbox Pfsense instance. I can also ping out, obviously, because I can get out to the internet. So if I ping Google, I can ping the DNS, or I can ping google.com, if I could spell, and I could do that as well. So we're good there. So we have a double natted firewall here. So we have a connection coming in, the main internet connections coming in to the Pfsense, or not the Pfsense, the Microtech router, and then from the Microtech router, the WAN interface we set up, the bridged one, is getting an IP via DHCP from the Microtech, and then creating an internet bridge between the 192.168.1.1 network and the 192.168.4.1 network. So we have a bridge going on there where the data is being going back and forth, so it's double natted. Now in here we have all of the different features, and maybe I'll do some more tutorials later on another later date. This video is getting pretty long, but you see right here we have VPN, open VPN. Inside here you can create a VPN server network and everything else. Here we have, if we click here, it goes back to the dashboard. But here, and this is a good thing to do too from time to time, is you have all your settings for your updates and everything else. User manager, this is where you can create users for your VPN and change the passwords for them and all that good stuff. We have high availability. If you want to run two of these together, you can do it. It's actually sounds pretty cool. And we have a whole bunch of other stuff. So let's see here, package manager, general setup. So inside general setup, I think that's where it's at. Okay, this is where you can name your router if you want to change the domain. Okay, I was looking for, and they might have changed it in this release. Services, all your services here, DNS, DHCP server, DHCP version 6 server, or relay. We have network time protocol, load balancing. Also here we have IPsec, if you want to create IPsec tunnel, which is still very common, very much in use. Let's see here, diagnostics. We have traceroute. We can run some, yes, it has a smart test for your disk on the box, which is great. We can reboot the system from here. We have ping, we have pftop, we have pfinfo, all the good stuff. DNS lookup as well, and help information to help you get things going. So what I was looking for was routing. Okay, routing. You can put in routes here. It shows you routing that's going on right now. Very cool stuff. There's the user manager. Right now we just have the admin user, but you can create more right there from that as well. certificate. This is where you can create your certificates for your OpenVPN and also for the interface or anything else you need. Obviously, these certificates would be self-signed certificates, so like I told earlier in the video. And we have a lot of different things there that we can do. So that's it for a nutshell. For the most part, that's how you set up Pfsense. It was a rather long video. I apologize for the interruptions, but sometimes getting it to work in a virtual environment can be a little bit of a pain. So anyways, this has been HT Web Host, and I hope this was informative to you. Like, subscribe, comment, please, and have a great day.